大家好, 我是 Martin, and this is Short Stories brought to you by the Taichung Keda Language Center. Today we are going to talk about a classic tale from Hans Christian Andersen, who is the most famous Danish children's writer. The story we will hear today is called The Wild Swans. But before I can begin today's story, I must first introduce the vocabulary and vocabulary example sentences. And then after we finish the story, we will review with some reading comprehension questions. Okay, are you ready? Then let's begin with vocabulary. Equally. Equally. The teacher treats all of her students equally and does not have any favorites. That's not true. Teachers always have favorites. Bride. Bride. A bride needs to have a nice dress to wear at her wedding. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. The team tried their best, but unfortunately, they did not win first prize. Remain. Remain. I will remain in the car while you go into the store to buy milk. Cheerful. Cheerful. Anna is a very cheerful person. She always seems to be smiling. Get rid of. Get rid of. You never wear this old shirt anymore, so it's time to get rid of it. Secretly. Secretly. Even though Ray was often mean to Karen, he secretly liked her. At heart. At heart. The elderly man is almost 90 years old, but he is still young at heart. Instead. Instead. I'd rather go bike riding in the mountains instead. Pour. Pour. Can you please pour me another glass of orange juice? Recognize. Recognize. I recognize that actor. He's in a lot of different movies. He must be Kevin Bacon. Explore. Explore. The sailors decided to explore the new island they discovered. Normal. Normal. Now that the big festival is over, this town will finally return to normal. Bear. Bear. The boy took off his gloves and used his bare hands to climb the tree. Crush. Crush. She crushed the paper cup by stepping on it with her foot. Weave. Weave. My grandmother is teaching me how to weave a sweater. Defend. Defend. The turtle used its hard shell to defend itself from the fox. Okay, that's it for vocabulary. Now, we'll start the story. Are you ready? Here we go. In a faraway land, a king and queen gave birth to 12 children. All of them were boys except for one, Alyssa. Even though she was the only girl, Alyssa got along very well with all her brothers, and her parents loved all of them equally. They were the perfect family. But when the queen died, everything changed. After the queen's death, the king decided to get married again. His choice for a new bride, unfortunately, was a poor one. The new queen turned out to be an evil witch, and she hated the children. She did everything she could to make them unhappy, like selling all their toys. The children, however, remained upbeat because they had each other. Seeing the children still so cheerful made the new queen even angrier. So she decided to come up with a new plan that would get rid of the children forever. The evil queen secretly led the young princes down to the garden, and she used her magic to turn them into crows. However, because they were good at heart, the magic spell turned them into swans instead, and they flew away. The queen returned to the castle and snuck into Alyssa's room while she was taking a bath. She then poured brown dye into the water, turning Alyssa's skin and hair into a dark brown color. The king did not recognize Alyssa, so he kicked her out of the castle. The queen's plan had worked to perfection. Alyssa went down to the sea and washed the dye off her body. All of a sudden, 11 swans with small gold crowns on their heads landed nearby. Alyssa hid and watched them, and at night they turned into princes. She had found her brothers. They knew they could not return to the castle while the queen was still there. So the princes told Alyssa about a beautiful island across the sea. The princes turned back into swans when the sun rose, and they placed Alyssa on an old fisherman's net and flew her to the faraway island. After they arrived at the island, Alyssa went out to explore, and she happened to meet an old woman. Alyssa told the woman about her brothers, and the old woman told her she could help turn them back to normal. First, Alyssa had to gather sharp little nettles with her bare hands, and then crush them with her bare feet. And finally, weave them into 11 shirts. Also, she could not speak a single word until the entire task was completed, or else her brothers would die. Alyssa set to work, but she was caught by some soldiers who thought she was a witch. Since she could not talk, she could not defend herself. Alyssa was just about to be burned at the stake when, all at once, her brothers flew in and landed beside her. Alyssa gave them the shirts she had made, and they turned back into princes. She was set free, and the local duke, who was in love with Alyssa's beauty and courage, proposed to her, and they lived happily ever after. Wow, that's a sweet story about a girl who saved her brothers. Now we will do some reading comprehension questions. I will read 4 questions, and you do your best to answer them. Okay. Are you ready? Here we go. Question number 1. How many brothers did Alyssa have? A, 12. B, 11. C, 10. D, 9. If you said 12, you are wrong. The answer is B, 11. They had 12 children total. 1 was a girl, so she had 11 brothers. Question 2. How did Alyssa help her brothers turn back into princes? A, she made shirts out of nettles for them. B. She made shirts out of cotton for them. C. She found a magic spell. D. She asked the witch for help. Well, the answer is A. She made shirts out of nettles for them. Question 3. What word does not mean the same thing as cheerful? A. Happy. B. Glad. C. Joyful. D. Glum. Do you know the answer? The answer is D. Glum. Glum means sad. Question 4. Why did the king kick Alyssa out of the castle? A. He did not recognize her. B. She was turned into a swan. C. She was turned into a crow. D. She was a witch. The answer is A. He did not recognize her. Remember the witch? She snuck into the bathroom and poured brown dye on her. And because of that, the king did not recognize his own daughter. What kind of father is that? She's just turned brown. Whoa, terrible. All right, well, thank you for joining us today. I hope to see you all again next time. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.